Assalamualaikum WBT Associate Professor Dr. Noraiza Binti Che Awang. Today, me and my groupmate will be presenting a case study of Zakat on agriculture. So these are my group members. I am Syafiqah Binti Talib. The next presenter will be Nurul Binti Norddin. And the last one will be Siti, Nurlily Afeefa Binti Adnan. So the content of this presentation will be introduction, literature review, methodology, findings, disclosure and recognition in audited financial statement, and conclusion. Introduction. Zakat is an idea that contains noble wisdoms and gives advantages to all Muslims. Zakat idea is to offer and give where the rich people will give to more needy people, especially the poor. Zakat is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. It is a compulsory procedure for Muslims earning above a certain threshold and should not be confused with sadaqah. Sadaqah is a term that refers to giving charitable gifts out of kindness or generosity. Zakat is based on income and the value of possessions. The common minimum amount for those who qualify is 2.5% or 1 out of 40 of a Muslim's total savings and wealth. The problem statement for this case study is issue in regards of insufficiency in distribution of zakat. The second one is issue in whether the non-staple foods such as palm, rubber and cocoa are obliged to zakat or not. And the third one is issue in how to calculate the zakat for those non-staple food mentioned. And the objective of this case study is to identify the basis of accounting for agricultural zakat, and the second one is to determine the type of zakat imposed on crops that are not categorized as staple food in Malaysia, as well as the methods for calculations by the entrepreneurs. The last one is to recognize the level of zakat awareness among the entrepreneurs. Literature review. Agricultural zakat that is practiced in Malaysia is zakat imposed on staple food that is failing on a state that has met the nisab or minimum value. Crops in which zakat is compulsory are grains from the types of staple food that are failing and resilient if stored for a considerable amount of time, such as paddy or rice, dates, corn, wheat, and so on. For Malaysians, their staple food is rice, and rice is made from paddy. Thus, the agricultural zakat that is suitable to be produced for Malaysia is paddy zakat. Therefore, crops that are not included in the category of staple foods items such as coconut, oil palm, rubber, pepper, sugar, cocoa, and others, zakat is not imposed upon these crops because there is no nas and proofs that compels the imposition of zakat on these crops. Although the zakat efforts of oil palm, rubber, cocoa, pepper, pineapple, and others in its material and physical aspects do not necessitate the imposition of zakat on these crops. However, there is the possibility that their illah are liable for zakat. In Malaysia nowadays, a lot of the crops can be considered for imposition of zakat. This is based on the method of determining laws for zakat, which includes the qiyas method, the wealth method, and the choosing method that favors the profitability to the poor. Given that most of the current crops are commercialized and bring about a bountiful harvest, thus, the wealth method in particular is highly desirable to be used. I'll pass this to the next presenter, Noraiza Binti Norddin. Thank you.
Next is Zakat on agricultural wealth. Zakat on agricultural wealth generally means an obligatory right to pay either 10% or 5% based on watering or irrigation technique from certain agricultural wealth crops on the day that the harvest is gathered or after pre-estimating of crops is planned, and the crop must be at least 5 also. Zakat on agricultural wealth obligation is stated in Al-Quran verses as in Surah Al-Baqarah 2:267. Oh, you who believe, give of the good things which have honorably earned, and of the fruits of the earth which we have produced for you, and do not even aim at getting anything which is bad, in order that out of it may give away something, when you yourself would not receive it, except with close eye. And know that Allah is free of all wants, and worthy of all praise. Next is methodology. Methodology is the systematic, theoretical analysis of the methods applied to a field of the study. Methodology offers the theoretical underpinning for understanding which method, set of methods, or best practices can be applied to a specific case. It encompasses concepts such as quantitative or qualitative techniques. Next is data collection method. For the data collection method, we have used two methods, which is online research and interview. For online research, we have find the type of agricultural produce handled by the entrepreneur and the documentation involved in their businesses, especially regarding the zakat calculation. Next, for the interview, we have interviewed 6 entrepreneurs that registered under FGV, and the interview session is being held through phone due to our current situation. Next is data collection procedure. The first procedure is identify the issues and the opportunity. We have done this procedure by reviewing the literature review. The second procedure is set objective. We identify the objective, the issue and the challenges, and disclose and record the objective. The third procedure is plan, approach, and method. We have done the method by doing online research and the interview. The fourth one is collect data, analyze, and interpret. By using the data, we make analysis and use it. Next is findings. Our main focus for this research is first, zakat awareness, second, zakat calculation, third, zakat payment, and the last one is on zakat problems. Zakat awareness. There are many agricultural companies in Malaysia, and different companies specialize in different types of plantation. One of the producers of oil palm companies in Malaysia is FGV Holdings. We have found 6 entrepreneurs registered under FGV, 3 entrepreneurs from Felda Bukit Goh, 2 entrepreneurs from Felda Bukit Sagu, and 1 entrepreneur from Felda Chini. Most of the entrepreneurs are aware that oil palm are subject to zakat, and it is categorized as a business zakat, and they need to pay zakat after harvesting the crops. Next, the zakat is calculated based on their annual incomes and at the rate of 2.5%. They will keep all the bill of income for a year and bring it to the zakat center to calculate the zakat to be paid. All of them assess the zakat on net income after deduction of production costs. But there also one entrepreneur will go to the zakat center every month to calculate his zakat, and he has practiced it for 5 years and pay zakat every month. Sometimes he need to pay zakat for that month, and sometimes not. It based on the income that he generated from that month and the requirement of the result and how. Zakat calculation and zakat payment. Assessing the total cost of production and cost of living, it differs between types of crops that are cultivated, whether short-term such as vegetable and cash, or seasonal such as nuts and steel heads, or industrial crops such as palm oil and rubber. This difference is due to the return on capital of the vegetable and cash crops such as coconuts will be available within a short period of 1 to 4 months. Most of the entrepreneurs are aware that oil palm are subject to zakat and it is categorized as business zakat and they need to pay zakat after harvesting the crops. That's all from me. My friend will continue the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, let's continue the zakat calculation and zakat payment. Whereas for fruit and industry crops, capital returns will be available in the 5th to 10 years. This is from Kelantan Agriculture Department 2003. Next, as a result, the income for the first few years of the fruit business is still not compulsory because of the cost of providing the farm and its maintenance. Last one, this is in contrast to vegetable and cash crops where zakat is required to be withdrawn upon receipt after deduction of production costs and cost of living for the period of operation. Okay, for zakat calculation and zakat payment, for fruit plant income is only stable after reaching its maturity stage without the needs for farmers to spend a lot of capital that year. All that is needed is the wage to quote and cut down the bushes, and the rest of the sale is the net profit of the entrepreneur for the season. For industrial zakat calculation is as follows. For example, Felda settlers working on 5.6 hectares of oil fields with an average yield of 18 tons per month for 8 to 11-year-old oil palm. So, 10% of gross income minus cost of production minus cost of living, which is 10% times 3,960 minus 1,200 and minus 1,266. We will get 10% times 1,494. Then we get the zakat calculation is 149.4. Okay. Next is zakat problems. Agricultural zakat is defined as a zakat that is being levied on state staple food of a state that has reached its nisab. Crops that are compulsory to be zakat are cereal, grain, consist of satiate and long-lasting staple food if stored such as rice, dates, corn, and wheat, and so on. The staple food for Malaysians is rice, and rice is produced from paddy. The obligation to pay zakat includes any plantation that can give profits to the entrepreneurs. Fuqaha has different opinions in determining nisab for non-scalable crops such as cotton, coconut, palm oil, and rubber, cocoa, and so on. Al-Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal argues that his nisab should be based on scales of 1,600 kg or 653 kg. This means that agricultural zakat is mandatory when crop yields reach that amount. Al-Kasani also recounts the view of Al-Imam Muhammad in his opinion that it should be based on 5 times the standard unit used in the material. Rubber in Malaysia, for example, the standard unit used is a hammer, which means that the rubber zinc in 5 each. Okay. Next problem is, meanwhile, Imam Abu Yusuf saw that the zakat of agricultural produce that could not be measured with a bushel was worth 5 shillings of grain that could be measured. This means that its nisab in Malaysia is 1102.64 based on rice. The researcher is more comfortable accepting the views of Imam Abu Yusuf after assessing the views above. This view is best practice in reality in Malaysia. The method of calculating agricultural zakat is not the same as the method of calculating rice zakat, which has been studied, in which 10% of gross income is deducted from production costs and cost of living. Disclosure and recognition in audited financial statements. Okay, let's see the financial statement, extract of financial statement of FGV Holding Berhad. We can see that FGV Holding Berhad recognized its obligations to pay zakat on wealth. FGV Holding Berhad will be liable to pay zakat when it reaches haul of 12 months. Zakat imposed will be calculated based on the group's revenue after deducting allowable expenses. The amount of zakatable wealth will be recognized as expense in its financial statement. Okay, for the conclusion, in this case study, we have learned the basis of accounting for agricultural zakat and the determination of type of zakat imposed on non-staple food in Malaysia. Besides, we also identify the methods of zakat calculation used by the entrepreneurs and the level of zakat awareness among them. This research was done with the help from 6 entrepreneurs that are registered with FGV. We have conducted few interviews via phone call, and after doing a thorough research, it is proven that wealth has been as one of the primary considerations for imposing zakat to Muslims who operate rubber plantations, oil palm, cocoa, pineapple, etc. Therefore, this justifies that zakat should be imposed on the wealth of the rich regardless of the source of wealth acquired. From this case study, we also realize that there are still many issues and challenges faced by the entrepreneurs in their business regarding the agricultural produce. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, whatever fa'i Allah has passed on to his messenger from the people of the towns is for Allah and for the messenger, and for the kinsmen and the orphans, and the needy and the wayfarer, so that it may not circulate and only between the rich among you. And whatever the messenger give you, take it, and whatever he forbids you from, abstain from it. And fear Allah, indeed Allah is severe in punishment. Surah Al-Hajj, verse 59. In this verse, it suggests that wealth can be used as the illah to impose obligatory zakat on individuals. Zakat should be imposed on the rich to provide reliefs to the poor. That's all from us. Thank you.